President Joko Widodo is in Seoul, making Indonesia the first of the ASEAN members to have exchanged state visits with South Korea since President Moon Jae-in's inauguration. The two leaders sat down for talks touching on various topics mainly linked to economic cooperation. Hwang Ho-jun starts us off with that summit.
A visit in return, 10 months after President Moon Jae-in made Jakarta the destination for his first state visit as president. Indonesian President Joko Widodo sat down with his South Korean counterpart at the Blue House on Monday, and the two agreed to boost their special strategic partnership to a new level.
우리는 수교 45주년을 축하하며 깊어진 우정과 신뢰를 확인했습니다. 작년 11월 정상회담의 공동 비전 성명에 담긴 합의 사항에 많은 진전이 있었음을 높이 평가하고 특별 전략적 동반자 관계로서 협력의 폭과 깊이를 더욱 확대하기로 했습니다.
The name of the game was economic cooperation. During their joint press conference, the two leaders decided to further facilitate high-level exchanges and policy consultations while also boosting trade between their countries. According to President Moon, the trade volume between South Korea and Indonesia reached $9.8 billion in the first half of this year. And he confirmed that he and President Widodo agreed to try and increase that number to $30 billion by the year 2022. They also agreed to expand bilateral cooperation in areas such as digital startups using information and communication technology, while continuing cooperation in the infrastructure and clean energy sectors. Accordingly, the leaders witnessed the signing of MOUs for the two countries in sectors including immigration control, economy, maritime security, and research on industrial innovation. The Blue House confirmed that President Moon also briefed his Indonesian counterpart on the recent situation on the Korean peninsula and asked him for Indonesia's continued support and cooperation for denuclearization and the establishment of permanent peace. Throughout the day, President Moon made it clear that Indonesia is one of South Korea's key partners. And this morning saw a historic first in Korea's modern history. South Korea's first couple greeted the Indonesian first couple with a special ceremony at Changdeokgung Palace, one of the 5 grand palaces in Seoul, and also a registered World Heritage Site. Changdeokgung is known as a place where the kings of the Joseon dynasty would discuss state affairs with their officials and would receive foreign envoys. President Moon also hosted a state dinner at the Blue House in the Indonesian leader's honor. With President Widodo's visit, Indonesia has become the first of the ASEAN nations to have exchanged state visits with South Korea since President Moon took office. Hwang Ho-jun, Arirang News.